Scream Factory released the 2001 horror film Bones on Blu-ray last year. I actually just picked it up and gave it a rewatch for the first time in years. Now, I honestly wasn't blown away by this movie when it first came out. So how does it hold up now, 20 years later? Well, let's find out. Bones opens with some punks buying some drugs in a crime-ridden area. The cops suddenly show up and they flee the scene. They take refuge in a creepy, dilapidated building. We are introduced to an evil force that dwells within, and the punks are killed. Now we eventually learn that the building is haunted by Jimmy Bones, played by Snoop Dogg. I've actually never listened to a Snoop Dogg song in my life, and only know that he smokes a lot of weed and apparently is a fan of TJ Hooker. Now I learned this from watching an episode of Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party, where William Shatner guest starred. Most people know of Snoop Dogg through his music. I know of him from Bones and a cooking show with Martha Stewart. So Jimmy Bones was a gangster in the 70s who was betrayed and murdered by a group of people and a crooked cop. Apparently they wanted Jimmy to agree to let drugs into the neighborhood and profit off of it. He refused and was murdered for it. A group of young people have acquired the old building and want to turn it into a nightclub. Our lead character, Patrick, and his family have a connection to Jimmy Bones, which is revealed later. All kinds of creepy stuff happens, and Jimmy eventually returns, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare 4 style, to get his revenge. I remember a lot of talk back in 2001 about Bones being a new Freddy Krueger type franchise. You can definitely see that here, with Bones taking on different forms and even cranking out some one-liners.
Oh my God. The gangster in love don't eat no fried chicken.
There's even a Freddy-style children's song about him.
This is the story of Jimmy Bones, black as night and hard as stone.
A Bones franchise sadly never happened, but this film gives it a good try. It's directed by Ernest Dickerson, who also did one of the best 90s horror films, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. His direction here is fantastic. It's very stylish and he leans heavily on practical effects, which I love. One of my favorite scenes involves a demon dog barfing up maggots. Dickerson works in television now, but I really wish he would get back into feature films. The guy has a ton of talent. As I said, we get a lot of practical effects that hold up beautifully. There's some CGI stuff here too, but nowhere near as much as you'd expect in an early 2000s film. The movie has some nice performances, and Snoop does a great job as both the sympathetic and monstrous Jimmy Bones. The scene where he walks down the once thriving street in his neighborhood, only to find it crime-ridden and filthy now, is actually kinda sad, and I wish this aspect was played up a bit more in the film. But the movie moves along at a lightning pace, and I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. Now, it's not perfect. Things get a little goofy at times, with Jimmy carrying around the still living severed heads of his victims.
Oh, now was that fucking necessary, man?
It's just a little too comedic, especially with the more serious tone of the first part of the film. Also, there's a problem with the blood. Some shots are better than others, but a lot of the time it looks like paint, similar to the blood from the original Dawn of the Dead. Now, apparently this was due to the color timing they did to give the film a certain look. After the tweaks they did to the picture during post-production, the blood just didn't hold up, sadly. But even still, the movie holds up pretty well, and I really enjoyed it with this viewing, far more than I did 20 years ago when I first watched it. Scream Factory has included a new 4K scan from the original camera negative. The results are excellent, with the unique colors and visuals really shining through. Scream has included all the special features from the old DVD release. New to this release are 4 interviews, one with director Ernest Dickerson, screenwriter Adam Simon, director of photography Flavio Labiano, and effects guy Tony Gardner. The new interviews provide lots of great behind-the-scenes information on the film. No reversible art is included with this release. This is yet another solid Blu-ray from Scream Factory. There's a great collection of old and new special features, and the picture quality is fantastic. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. And if you saw it years ago and didn't care for it, give it another chance sometime. It's a lot better than you remembered.